Who's secretly ruling the world, dark or light chosen ones? If you've ever looked around and felt like something is off, like the visible leaders aren't really the ones in control, like the forces that shape reality are operating behind a curtain thicker than any political veil, then you're not alone. We're all sensing it now. A strange spiritual pressure tightening around the planet. It's not paranoia, it's not conspiracy, it's frequency. And frequency doesn't lie. Beneath the wars, the laws, the markets, the influencers, and even beneath your daily distractions, there's a hidden war of vibrations being fought by beings not seen but deeply felt. The world is not being ruled by presidents or billionaires. They're just faces, puppets, temporary fronts. The true architects of our reality are the ones who hold dominion over energy, consciousness, and influence from the shadows. And these are not aliens or angels or AI. These are the chosen ones, but not just any chosen ones. There are two kinds, light and dark. And the question we're about to dive into is the one that few dare to ask out loud: which side is really in control right now? Before we can even begin to answer, we need to erase everything Hollywood taught you about light and dark. Forget the simplistic fairy tale of good versus evil. The light chosen ones are not always saints. The dark chosen ones are not always demons. Both serve a higher cosmic intelligence, but they move in opposite directions using opposite tools. And ironically, both are necessary for the balance of Earth's spiritual ecosystem. The real difference lies in intention. Light chosen ones are architects of awakening. They move through compassion, clarity, self-sacrifice, and spiritual service. Their power is radiant but quiet. They don't chase followers, they awaken them. Their currency is truth, and they are often hidden in plain sight: nurses, teachers, healers, silent warriors walking through the crowd, unnoticed but undeniable.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Dark chosen ones, on the other hand, are not here to bring comfort. They are disruptors, catalysts. They break illusions by burning them. They expose weakness by triggering it. Their power is sharp, magnetic, and sometimes even terrifying. But don't confuse darkness with malice. True dark chosen ones are not evil, they are necessary. They wield chaos like a surgical blade, forcing others into the fire of transformation. Many of the greatest awakenings in history were initiated by a dark soul who was sent to destroy the false so the truth could finally breathe. So who's winning? If we look at the surface, if we track the fear cycles in the media, the fragmentation of communities, the psychological warfare on the youth, the hijacking of divine symbols by inverted agendas, it seems clear the dark chosen ones are in power. But that's only half the picture. Because what most don't see is that light chosen ones don't fight for power, they anchor it. While the dark may appear to rule from towers and thrones, the light rules from the roots. Silent, stable, hidden, but unshakable. Here's the key truth: whichever side is more internally aligned has more influence over the collective grid. It's not about visibility, it's about coherence. Right now, many of the light chosen ones are asleep. Not lazy, not unaware, just tired. Their souls are weary from lifetimes of carrying wisdom that the world wasn't ready to hear. Many of them were born into toxic families, systems designed to suppress their glow, and environments built to crush their voice. And so they began to doubt themselves. They stayed quiet. They chose safety. And while they dimmed themselves down, the dark chosen ones stepped into the vacuum, bold, decisive, fearless. But here's what most don't realize: the light never disappears. It just waits for the right moment. It gathers. It regenerates. And then it returns in waves. We're now at the edge of one such wave. You can feel it, can't you? More people questioning the narrative. More souls breaking free from identity scripts. More chaos, yes, but chaos is the signal that the system can no longer hold what it's hiding. The question is not whether light or dark chosen ones are winning. The real question is, which side are you unconsciously feeding? Because you feed it with your attention. Every time you scroll in fear, you energize the dark. Every time you silence your intuition to fit in, you abandon the light. Every time you argue about illusions, you strengthen the grip of the unseen masters. And the most dangerous part, you don't even know you're doing it. That's how powerful they've become, not because they control armies or satellites, but because they control focus. They've hacked the nervous system of humanity, and the only firewall is awakening, not knowledge, awareness. Let's get real. Have you noticed how emotionally volatile the world has become? How everyone's fuse is shorter, their energy more drained, their spirit more numb. That's not random. That's frequency engineering. And it's not done by some sci-fi cable. It's done through energetically sensitive individuals, some of whom are dark chosen ones, who are placed in positions of cultural, digital, and emotional influence. They may not even know it, but they're channels, amplifiers of shadow. They don't need to be evil, just unhealed. And the more pain they carry, the more chaos they spread. But here's where it gets wild. Sometimes a dark chosen one awakens, and when they do, their impact multiplies tenfold. Why? Because they've already mastered power. They just need to remember purpose. The most dangerous force in the world is a dark chosen one who has been touched by light, because now they don't just disrupt, they heal through disruption. They break you to awaken you. They test your ego to restore your essence. They dismantle your illusions so you can finally build truth on solid ground. So I ask you, what if the one secretly ruling the world isn't a person or a council, but a collective field created by the dominant vibration of humanity? And what if that field is being shaped, moment by moment, by the chosen ones, both light and dark, operating beneath the surface? The question now becomes, what side are you truly aligned with, not in words, not in fantasy, but in vibration? The real battle isn't physical, it's vibrational, and you're already in it. Most people are still looking for a battlefield they can see. A place with flags, leaders, explosions, declarations. But that's not where the real war is happening. The true battlefield has no borders, no armies, no front lines. It lives in the unseen layers of reality, where thoughts become weapons, emotions become currents, and intentions ripple through the collective unconscious like invisible earthquakes. It's not a fight between nations. It's a war for the human frequency. And the truth is, you're already in it. Whether you believe it or not, whether you resist it or not, your very presence on Earth during this time means you are a participant. The only question is, are you a conscious warrior or a sleeping conduit? This battle isn't about ideology. It's about energy. And here's the most dangerous part: vibrational wars are never fought directly. They're fought through influence. Think about it. Who controls the mood of a room? The most grounded person or the most reactive? Who shapes a conversation? The calm soul with presence, or the loudest one with fear in their eyes? Energy spreads faster than words. In a vibrational war, the most contagious frequency wins. Now ask yourself, what frequencies are you spreading? What do people absorb just by being near you? Is it urgency, judgment, subtle anxiety wrapped in positivity? Or is it calm conviction, embodied stillness, magnetic peace that doesn't need to prove anything? Most people have no idea that they are being used as amplifiers, that their emotional field has been hijacked, that their thoughts, laced with old wounds, are being recycled through the collective matrix. This is not fiction. This is energetic reality. The Dark Chosen Ones understand this. Whether consciously or unconsciously, they know that the game is vibrational. That's why they rarely waste time on debate. They influence through presence, not persuasion. They walk into a room and subtly shift the direction of the entire space. You've met people like that, the ones who don't need to speak much, but suddenly everyone around them becomes tense, or obedient, or unnaturally drawn to them. It's not charisma. It's frequency manipulation. And it works because the vast majority of people are not rooted in their own energetic sovereignty. But here's the twist. Light-chosen uns can do the exact same thing, only in reverse. Instead of distortion, they bring coherence. Instead of tension, peace. But their power is slower, more organic. It doesn't dominate, it harmonizes. And that's why it's often overlooked in this fast, loud world. Because real power doesn't need to scream. It doesn't need followers or spectacle. It just is. And when it's embodied fully, it rearranges everything it touches without force. This vibrational war has a unique trait. You don't win it by fighting harder. You win it by becoming cleaner. By refining your frequency so thoroughly that nothing false can stick to you. That means becoming radically honest. Not performative. Not spiritual, be aesthetic. But clean, centered, unshakable. The Dark Chosen Ones manipulate reality by distorting the truth. The Light Chosen Ones restore reality by becoming the truth. But that requires training. Daily, moment-by-moment vigilance over your internal state. Every trigger, every emotional spike, every judgment is not just a personal moment, it's a battleground. It's an invitation. Will you spiral into unconscious reactivity, feeding the shadow grid? Or will you pause, breathe, witness, and rise? This is not about being perfect. It's about being present. Because presence itself is a weapon. The world doesn't need more knowledge. It needs more awake bodies. Souls anchored so deeply in the now that their very breath reprograms the room. Do you understand what that means? It means that every grocery store you walk into, every interaction at work, every silent moment in traffic, you are radiating. And that radiation either stabilizes the grid or weakens it. The real rulers of the world aren't just the ones in secret rooms. They are the ones who have mastered the art of maintaining their chosen frequency regardless of external pressure. And that includes you. This is the ultimate red pill. Your inner world is the staging ground for a cosmic war. When you purify your thoughts, you don't just help yourself. You send signals into the grid that destabilize control systems. When you refuse to react to provocation, you reclaim power from the matrix of reaction. When you speak truth without ego, you slice through the veil of illusion like a blade of light. These acts are not small. They are atomic. So if you've been waiting for a sign that it's time to take your role seriously, this is it. You don't need to change the world. You need to change your field. You don't need a title or a temple or a following. You need one thing: energetic integrity. That's what makes you untouchable. That's what makes you dangerous to the system of distortion. And that's what makes you a true ruler, not in dominance, but in vibration. Now ask yourself this, and mean it. What's the dominant frequency in your field right now? And who does it serve, your soul or your programming? Why the most powerful chosen ons are the ons no one notices. We live in a world obsessed with visibility. Fame has become the new religion. Followers, likes, headlines, they're all treated as proof of relevance. But in the vibrational realms, power doesn't scream. It whispers. And the ones who truly shape the world from the inside out are almost never the ones you think. They walk past you on the street without turning heads. They sit in silence during conversations. They don't need to dominate the room, because the room already bends around their field. They are the light and dark chosen ons who have learned the greatest secret of all. That real power is not attention, it's intention magnified by energy mastery. The reason the most powerful chosen ones are unnoticed is because they understand the danger of the spotlight. They've already tasted it in past lives, or earlier in this one. They know that the more visible you are, the more projection you absorb. The more people see you, the more shadows they throw onto you. Visibility makes you vulnerable to distraction, but invisibility makes you invincible. These chosen ones don't hide out of fear. They stay quiet because they've transcended the need for validation. They don't feed on admiration or identity. They don't need to be known because they are already known by the only force that matters, the source. So what do these invisible rulers actually do? They anchor light codes into dense spaces without announcing it. They heal trauma fields in silence just by walking through them. They adjust timelines through internal alchemy. Their tools are not speeches or campaigns, but presence, breath, and impeccability. You may never know their names, but they are the ones preventing total collapse. They are the reason some cities haven't descended into full chaos. They are the spiritual firewall between humanity and its own self-destruction. And here's the paradox: the most powerful ones are also the most humble. Because power and humility are not opposites, they are twins. You don't need to declare your rank when you embody it. A true light chosen one doesn't need to declare war on darkness. Their frequency already disarms it. A true dark chosen one doesn't need to terrorize or rebel. Their very presence reveals truth so raw that masks fall off without a word. You may feel uneasy around them or deeply seen. You may think they are just a cashier, a janitor, a stranger. But underneath that mundane mask is an energetic precision more exact than any weapon. We've been programmed to think that changing the world requires massive platforms. But remember this: frequency travels faster than language. One grounded human in a sea of chaos can recalibrate thousands. One centered breath in the middle of panic can shift a room. The great ones know this. That's why they're calm when others scream. That's why they move slowly when others rush. That's why they feel ancient, even if they're young. You may be one of them and not even realize it. You may have wondered why people open up to you without knowing why. Why strangers confess things to you they've never told anyone. Why you feel exhausted after being in crowds, not because you're weak, but because you're absorbing and transmuting on behalf of others. That is not random. That is not coincidence. That is not sensitivity. That is assignment. But here's the part most don't want to hear. Being a chosen one, especially one who chooses the path of invisibility, is not glamorous. It's not a trend. It's a burden disguised as grace. It requires you to show up again and again, even when no one claps. It asks you to purify when no one sees. To choose integrity when the rewards are invisible. It requires a quiet kind of courage, the kind that doesn't roar, but doesn't flinch either. And yet this quiet courage is what saves civilizations. When the world falls into confusion, it won't be the celebrities who restore balance. It won't be the influencers who rebuild the field. It will be those who never left the center, even when the storm howled. The ones who kept praying when no one believed. The ones who kept listening when everyone else was talking. The ones who stayed aligned, no matter how misaligned the world became. So I ask you now, with full sincerity, have you been hiding not because you're small, but because you're too vast to be understood? Have you been quietly carrying light or shadow, transmuting pain in secret, sensing that your existence itself is part of a larger design? If so, then hear this: you are not here to be famous. You are here to be effective. And effectiveness in a vibrational war doesn't always wear a crown. Sometimes it wears silence. Sometimes it wears exhaustion. Sometimes it wears total invisibility. But make no mistake, the invisible ones are the pillars of this world. They are already shaping the future, not through systems or speeches, but through their unwavering field. This is how the chosen ones are reprogramming reality itself. Reality is not fixed. It never was. What we call reality is just a field, a living hologram responding moment by moment to dominant patterns of belief, emotion, attention, and energy. And for most of history, that field has been shaped unconsciously by the masses, by fear, by repetition, by inherited trauma passed down like invisible scripts. But something has changed. A tipping point has been reached. The chosen ones, both light and dark, are no longer just influencing people. They are reprogramming the field itself, quietly, steadily, irrevocably. This isn't science fiction. It's spiritual physics. Every time a chosen one clears a deep internal wound, they remove a frequency from the human grid. Every time they align fully with truth, they strengthen the architecture of the new earth. Every time they shift from fear to clarity, from victimhood to sovereignty, the change ripples out not metaphorically, but energetically. The world reshapes itself in real time to reflect the inner state of those with the strongest coherence. And here's the key: coherence always overrides chaos, not by force but by nature. Just like a tuning fork brings others into resonance, a single aligned being pulls others into a higher state without words, without effort, without needing to convince. Chosen ones are not doing this through rituals or ceremonies alone. They're doing it through embodiment, through walking their talk, through mastering the mundane, through forgiving when it's hardest, choosing stillness when triggered, and staying aligned when it's inconvenient. These aren't small acts. They are codes. Every moment of integrity inserts a new instruction into the field. The more instructions encoded with light, the more the field begins to shift away from distortion. This is how they're winning, not by preaching, but by becoming the new pattern. And what about the dark chosen ones? Are they also reprogramming the field? Yes, but in their own way. They are forcing people to confront what's hidden. They create intensity, rupture, confrontation so illusions can no longer survive. They're the fire that burns away the fog. Their presence often creates crisis, but crisis is just the breakdown of what was never real. In that sense, they are accelerating the awakening. And those who are ready, truly ready, don't run from the dark. They thank it. They grow from it. They transcend through it. So what's actually happening right now? The world is splitting, not physically, vibrationally. Two timelines are unfolding. One that loops in fear, confusion, distraction, and another that rises into clarity, sovereignty, creation. And the chosen ones are deciding which future becomes dominant. Not by voting or campaigning, but by vibrating into alignment again and again until that alignment becomes a collective standard. This is the real secret behind who's ruling the world. It's not a government. It's not a secret group. It's not a technology. It's a frequency field shaped by a minority of highly tuned beings operating from invisible influence. And you are either helping stabilize that new frequency or you're delaying it by looping in patterns that no longer serve. So the final question is this: are you ready to become one of them? Not in name, not in identity, but in embodiment. Can you become so rooted in your inner truth that nothing external can sway you? Can you be a silent architect of the next world, not by controlling it, but by resonating with what's real? Can you let go of who you think you are so you can finally remember who you came here to be? Because in the end, light and dark chosen ones don't rule through domination. They rule through frequency, through presence, through alignment with the deeper laws of the universe. And they are not coming. They're already here, quiet, precise, and rewriting the code of everything.